Hey everyone, welcome back and let's write some more Leetcode today. So today let's solve redundant connections, but before I do, I just want to mention if you have any problem suggestions, you can feel free to leave those in the comments. I do have a pretty large backlog that I'm working through right now, so it might take me a couple weeks to get to your suggested problem. So this is a pretty good problem to solve. This can actually be solved in a naive way, which is going to be O of n squared, and that's just a basic depth first search solution for this graph, similar to many other graph problems, but you can actually reduce this to a regular O of n, a more optimized solution, and that actually requires a algorithm that you might not have seen before, union find. It's a rare algorithm to need on Leetcode, so most people don't use it, but this problem can use union find to get a much better solution. I'm also going to explain why we're allowed to use the union find algorithm in this problem because it's not super clear. So we're given a definition. A tree is an undirected graph that contains no cycles. So basically this is the key, an undirected graph that contains no cycles. We're given a graph that started as a tree, started as a graph that was undirected and had no cycles. We had n nodes. These nodes are labeled from 1 all the way to n. But we ended up adding one additional edge. And we know every edge basically just connects two vertices, and this edge is undirected. So this edge ended up connecting two vertices, and this edge did not already exist in the graph. In this case, the graph is represented as an array of edges, and the number of edges is basically n. Basically, the number of edges is equal to the number of nodes that we have. As I mentioned, every edge is going to be connecting two nodes together. So we want to return an edge that can be removed from the graph that will turn the graph back into a tree. If there are multiple edges that we can remove that will turn the graph back into a tree, then we will return the last edge in the input that basically satisfies that condition. And they guarantee us that in the input list of edges that we're given, every single edge is going to be unique. So let's take a look at this example. Notice how if we remove any of the edges, if I remove this, now this graph no longer has a cycle, right? Because initially it had this cycle, right? So if I remove this edge, it doesn't have a cycle. So that satisfies the condition. So does that mean 1, 2 is the result? 1, 2 is the edge that we can return? No, because it turns out if I remove this edge, it also satisfies the condition. It breaks the cycle that we initially had. The same is true for the third edge. So in this case, which of these three edges are we going to return? Basically the one that occurs last in the input, which is going to be 2, 3. So I guess the next question you might have is that always going to be the case? Is it if we remove any of the edges, it breaks the cycle, so that are we always going to be returning whatever the last edge is given to us? Not necessarily. Let's take a look at another edge. If we added, let's say 2, 4, basically if I increased the number of nodes from 3 to 4, so I added an edge over here that connects these two nodes. Now, if I break, and this is the last edge occurs in our input, if I break this edge, does that get rid of the loop that we have? No, we still have a loop over here, right? So this breaking this edge does not turn us into a tree. That's what we were looking for. So we're not always going to be returning the last edge. My next question to you is, if we have n nodes and we have n edges, right, that's what we're given always. We're always given the same number of nodes, same number of edges. Is it guaranteed that we're always going to start out with a loop? And the answer is yes. Let me show you the intuition of why that's true. Let's say we start out with 2 nodes. If I add a single edge to this, notice how we were able to take the total number of disjoint graphs. We had 2 graphs that were not connected, right? Once we added an edge, we were able to reduce that number to 1 graph, right? Now we have 1 connected graph. And you want to know something about a connected graph? If you add a new edge to this connected graph, you are going to create a cycle. So for example, in this case, we don't even have any more unique possible edges we could add other than, for example, a self loop on 2 or a self loop on 1, or just adding another edge, right? But we know that the edges are undirected. Basically what I'm saying is if we keep adding edges to a graph that is already a connected graph, then we're creating a cycle. Let's look at a couple more examples. So now we have 4 nodes. If I add 4 edges to this graph that are all unique edges, we are going to end up with a cycle. It's impossible to not end up with a cycle if we add 4 unique edges to this graph. Let me show you why. Let's say we added 1 edge here, then we could add another edge here, right? And then we could add another edge here. And then the 4th edge we could add would be here. This way we end up with a cycle. But hold on, maybe there are other possibilities, right? Well, maybe instead of connecting these, I can also connect these. Oh, that ends up with a cycle too, right? Notice that? Maybe we just don't connect this with anything else. Maybe we add an edge here. That ends up with a cycle. If I add an edge over here, that ends up with a cycle. No matter how we do it, we end up with a cycle. Right? Maybe I start out like this, I try to be clever, now what? We still will end up with a cycle. And that's going to be true no matter what. If we have n nodes and n unique edges, we're going to end up with a cycle no matter what. But my question to you is, how do you know that adding this edge, right? Let's say we already have these 3 edges. How do you know that adding this edge is creating a cycle for us? It's because 1 is already connected with 3. 3 and 1 are already connected. See how all 4 of these nodes are already connected. So when I add this edge, I already knew there was a path from 3 to get to 1. Now I'm creating a second path from 3 to get to 1. Notice how that's what's creating the cycle. This is the reason why we're allowed to use the union find algorithm, because we're looking at the connected graphs, and once we notice we found an edge in our input array that caused us to take a connected graph and add another redundant connection. That's why this is called redundant connections. We added another connection that was not needed. 3 could already get to 1. Why bother adding this edge? That created a loop. So the first edge in our input array edges that causes a redundant connection is going to be the edge that we return. So the solution we're going to be doing is union find, and we are going to be doing union find by rank, which is the most efficient way to do it. So what we're going to be doing is iterating through every single edge. For example, this one, 1, 2, we know that we start out with 3 nodes, right? Because we're given 3 edges, therefore n equals 3. We have 3 nodes. Each node is numbered from 1, 2 to 3, right? So we start out with 3 nodes that are not connected with each other, right? And the rank of each of those separate graphs is 1, basically the size of the graph, right? What we're going to be doing is going through each edge. So for example, 1, 2, that means we're going to be connecting 1 and 2 together. We're connecting them in the shape of a tree. So one of them is going to be the parent node of the other. And we're going to be doing that based on rank. So for example, if the size of this graph was, or maybe we had something separate, right? Maybe we had something like this. If we had one graph of size 2 and another graph of size 1, then we would want to add the smaller graph as a child of the larger graph. But in this case, we know that both of the ranks, or in other words, size, is the same of both of these. They're both 1, so it doesn't really matter what we do. Let's add 2 as the child of 1. So since now 1 has another child, the size of this is actually going to be 2 now. So let's update the rank of it to 2. But we also have to update the parent. So initially, notice how the parents are all 1, 2, and 3. What that means is 1 is a parent of 1, right? That just basically means it has no parent. And 2 is initially a parent of 2. But notice now 2 actually has a real parent now. 2 has a parent of 1. So what we're going to do is erase this 2 and instead set it to 1, because now if we ever get to 2 and we want to know who's the parent of 2, we can go up this link all the way to 1 and see that 1 is a parent of 2. Next, we're going to go to the next edge, 1 and 3. This means we're going to be connecting 1 and 3 together. So since 1 is the parent of 1 and 3 is the parent of 3, let's get the ranks of both of these. The rank of 1 is going to be 2. The rank of 3 is going to be 1. Since 1 has a larger rank than 3, that means 3 is going to be the child of 1. So let's add 3 as a child of 1. And by doing that, we can also update the new rank of 1, because now the size of this has actually increased to 3. So let's change this to 3. And let's update the parent of 3. Initially, 3 was just the parent of itself. Now we're going to change that to also being 1 because the parent of 3 is clearly 1 now. So now let's go to the last edge in our input array, 2, 3. So what this is telling us is we want to merge 2 and 3 together. Basically, we want to connect them together. We're always going to be connecting by the parent. So what we're going to do when we have 2, so far we've done our union algorithm. Now we're going to do the find portion of union find. Every time we're given 2 nodes to merge together, we need to find what their parents are. So to get 2's parent, we're going to go up the link, see that the parent is 1. For 3, we're going to go up the link, see that its parent is also 1. What does that tell us? If we're trying to merge 2 and 3 together into the same graph, if they have the exact same parent, which can be, found from the parent array, that means they're already connected. That means if we added this new edge to our graph, we're adding a redundant connection. That means that this edge is the edge that we're going to return as our result. It's the one that we identified first. So with that being said, now let's jump into the code. So as mentioned, we are going to have a parent array. So initially we can just initialize that for every single node. Itself is going to be the parent. So for I in range of the length of edges plus 1, because we are starting with 0, even though our nodes are going from 1 to n, we are going to have a 0 in this input array just because it makes the math work out easier. We're not actually going to be using that 0 node. And we're also going to have a list of ranks, which initially is just going to be set to 1. And it's going to be the size of length of edges plus 1. And then we can basically just define our standard algorithms for union and find. So let's start out with find because it's easier. So if we were given a node n, then we want to find what its parent is. So we're going to go to its first parent. And when we say parent, we want to find the root parent. It's possible that a parent could take multiple links to get to the parent. So we're going to get the first parent of this parent of n, and it's also possible that n could basically be the parent of itself. So we're going to basically keep going until we find the last root parent. So while is not equal to parent of n, then we're going to basically keep going up the link. So we're going to set p equal to parent of itself. So while p is not equal to its own parent, we're going to basically keep going up the link. So then we're going to update p to the parent of itself. But we are going to add one thing to this algorithm. It's called path compression. Basically, before we get to this portion, what we're going to say is for p, we're going to set its parent actually to the parent of its parent, basically its grandparent. So we're going to say its new parent, parent of p, is going to be parent of its parent. And so this part is a little bit complicated, but basically it's making sure that we shorten the links as we go up the chain of parents. So if we had to go up the link one more time, if we had to repeat this find operation, it would be a little bit faster the next time that we did it. And at the end, when this is no longer the case, basically once we've gotten to the root parent is when we're going to be returning p. So this function is pretty short. The next one that we're going to be implementing is the union function. So if we were given 2 nodes, n1 and n2, and we had to union them together, that's what we're going to be doing. So to union them, we would have to find both of their root parents first, right? So that's why we implemented the find function first. So we're going to want to get p1 and p2, the parents of n1 and n2. We can do that with our find function, find n1 and find n2. One case is that both of the parents are equals. For example, p1 is equal to p2. In that case, we're going to return false because we cannot complete this operation. So we're going to say return false if can't complete, meaning they're already merged. That's how we're going to know that we found a redundant connection. So we'll return false if they have the same parent. If they don't have the same parent, then we're going to union them. We're going to be unioning them by rank. So if the rank of p1 is greater than the rank of p2, that means p1 is going to be the parent of p2. If the opposite is true, then that means p2 is going to be the parent of p1 in the else condition. But let's do the if condition first. So p1 is going to be the parent. So what we're going to do is for p2, we're going to set its parent equal to p1. We also then have to update the rank of p1 because it's now has more children than it had before. So we're going to add to the rank of p1 basically whatever the rank of p2 was prior to unioning them together. In the else condition, we're basically going to be doing the opposite. So for P1, we're going to set its parent equal to P2, and we're going to add to the rank of P2. I just noticed that I called my parent array parent, but I've been referencing it as pair. So let's just shorten this to PAR. And the last thing we're going to do in this is return true if we were able to successfully union them together. So let's return true. And that's basically the entire code. Now we get to the easy part where we're actually going to be calling these union find functions. So let's go through every single edge. So for N1, N2, this pair of edges, this pair of nodes in our edges input array, we're going to be calling union on these two N1, N2. And if it returns false, so if not the result of this function, then we have to return this edge N1, N2 as the resulting edge that they're looking for. And we know for sure it's guaranteed that at least one edge is going to lead to a redundant connection in this problem. So this is definitely going to execute. We don't have to put a return statement out here. So this is the entire code. So I hope that you learned something today. I hope this video was helpful. Maybe you learned union find today. And it's usually something that you can just memorize that if you need to. So I hope this was helpful. If it was, please like and subscribe. It supports the channel a lot, and I'll hopefully see you pretty soon. Thanks for watching.